I have talked about, or at least mentioned in quite a few different videos, that if you are someone who has chronically restricted your calorie intake way too low or done lots of fad diets, that you will likely have to gain some weight before you can healthily lose fat, regardless of where your starting weight might be. Now, a lot of people find that to be very counterintuitive, and they get really frustrated hearing that because they're like, well, that just doesn't seem right. Everybody's telling me that I have to lose weight. What's going on? Why would I need to eat more in order to lose weight? So what I want to talk about today is someone who this happened to and why there's value in allowing your body to heal, allowing your body to not be in this period where it's been restricted, it's compensating for being underfueled, and allowing your body to get back to baseline through potentially some weight gain before you then work on healthily losing fat. So this case study is of an individual who had been struggling with restrictive intake for about a year or two before coming in to see us. Now, this person just didn't really know what to do with diet, so ultimately ended up eating too little, had tried some intermittent fasting, that led to some binging, had tried restricting all sugar, had kind of tried a bunch of different things, and was realizing that nothing was working for them. They were getting really frustrated because they felt like they knew they were being too restrictive, but they weren't losing the weight that they thought they should be. At one point over the past 2 years, they had lost about 15 pounds, but then gained all of it back. So ultimately they were just really frustrated, which is what led them to be like, you know what, I'm gonna go see a dietitian. So this is this person's first metabolic rate. And what you can see is that their metabolism is lower than where we would predict it to be at this 2135. That happened because the body was compensating for being underfueled. This person was not taking in enough calories for the past year or two, or was alternating between not taking in enough and binging, etc. And so the body started compensating by bringing down that metabolic rate because it wasn't being fueled enough. So what we need to do is get this metabolic rate, this 2130, up to where we predict it to be at the 2400, right? We want to correct that first, because if not, this person is going to find themselves in the same cycle before they came in to see us, which is maybe losing weight and then regaining all of it, or the body just continuing to compensate by bringing that metabolic rate down lower and lower and lower and lower. And it'll get to a point where this person's finding themselves eating, 1,000 calories a day and feeling like they're not losing weight and they have low energy and a plethora of other things. So this is where we get into the weight gain piece, right? This person's metabolic rate is below where we would predict it to be. So we have to get them eating quite a bit more. And for this person, we actually increased their calories to 2,800 calories a day. We did that for two reasons. The first reason being that regardless of it being low, their metabolic rate is this 2135, right? So we have to factor in that that's how many calories this person needs at rest, not including just getting up and moving around or moving my arms like this, not including exercise. So we're feeding them 2,800 to accommodate for all of those things and to help pull that metabolic rate up. Now, in this time period, this person did gain some weight. Let's take a look at their body composition analysis. Now, as you can see here, this person is 6 feet tall, and when they first came in was 284 pounds. And so remember, we increased their calories to 2,800 for all of those reasons that I just mentioned. And in this time period, you can see they gained weight. They gained all the way up to 309 pounds. And a lot of people are like, okay, no, this is just absurd. You're telling me that I have to gain this much weight, but here's why. We were able to correct their metabolic rate, which I'll show you in a minute. This person had better energy. This person was no longer binging. They were not on this cycle of restricting and binging. They weren't obsessing over food. There were so many things that we like to call non-scale victories that were much better for this individual through allowing their body to heal. Now, internally, what we were also able to do that you can see here is get that muscle up a little bit, right? Which is a good thing. That muscle and lean mass is helpful for immunity and longevity and preventing injury and all of those lovely things. And what we were able to do is get this person to a place where their hormones are likely more regulated. Now, what I mean by that is there is some research to show that when you do a restrictive diet, the hormones that regulate your hunger and your fullness and even your fat storage get thrown off. And those things can be thrown off for up to 2 years. So by allowing this person to heal and gain some weight at first, we're allowing all of these things to kind of come back to baseline. Now let's take a look at their second metabolic test. So this was their second metabolic test, and this is when their weight was right about this 309 pounds, right? And you can see that it's now where we would predict it to be at this 2400, which is awesome, right? So what we did here, once we saw that this metabolic rate was higher than that 2135 when we started, and that all of those other non-scale victories that I just mentioned were better, is we said, okay, maybe we can tweak calories a little bit. So remember, they had been eating 2,800 and been consistent with that. Now we pulled them down to about 2,400 to 2,500, right at that resting metabolic rate, just to see what would happen. This person actually also wasn't doing as much exercise as when they first came in, so there's a little bit of that factored in. But we did pull calories just down a little bit to about 2,500. Let's take a look at their next body composition results. Now, as you can see here, weight is all the way down to 269, but look how long this took. This was a slow, steady process. What you should also note here is that their muscle mass stayed pretty close to baseline. It dropped just slightly, which of course is going to happen with any sort of weight loss, but we didn't lose too much muscle and we lost primarily fat. That slow, steady fat loss is what's going to be so much more effective to prevent this person from regaining all of this weight that they have lost. I wanted to point this out today because it's really important that you remember that it's okay if this journey seems a little bit like a windy road. We need to allow your body to heal. If you're someone who's coming from restrictive diet, fad diet background, we need to allow the body to heal. We need to get it to a place where it's healthily going to let go of fat without using restriction. Guys, thanks for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Feel free to ask us any questions in the comments section.